All right, good afternoon and welcome to the March 2021 meeting of the Omaha Public Power District Board of Directors. Thank you all for joining us remotely via WebEx. I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. With me virtually today are my fellow board members, Mike Cavanaugh, Sarah Howard, Janice Mulhoff, Craig Moody, Mary Spurgeon, Eric Williams, and Rick Yoder. We also have President and CEO Tim Burke, our General Counsel Steve Bruckner with the Fraser Stryker Law Firm, and members of OPPD's senior management team and subject matter experts. Additionally, we have several attendees on WebEx consisting of OPPD employees and members of the public. Brent, do you have a real number?
We have 26 attendees.
All right, thank you.
Consisting of staff and public.
Yep, thank you, Mo.
Excellent. With me, let's see. As a reminder to board members, senior management, and OPPD staff, please mute your microphones to reduce background noise. To members of the public, thank you for attending. If you joined us via WebEx, you are in listen-only mode. If you have technology questions, please use the chat feature in WebEx to communicate with the event host. If you are disconnected from the WebEx conference, we ask that you rejoin in the same manner as when you originally joined. I will now ask President Burke to give the safety briefing.
Great, thank you very much. As we have been talking about for really the last year, are the 10 actions for every Nebraskan to be taking to slow the spread of COVID-19. And Ms. Hinders, if you could go to the next slide. This is really around what we call the 3 W's, which is to wear a mask, which is to wash your hands and to watch your distance. And we're doing that inside our organization and asking people to do it outside the organization as well. So with that, that concludes my safety briefing today. Thank you.
All right, now let's run through our list of guidelines for the conduct of the meeting. This regular board meeting will follow the agenda made available to the public on oppd.com. This meeting is being conducted via WebEx events and is being recorded. Our board meetings have public comment periods on the agenda. Comments made by all parties during the meeting are a part of the official public record. Following board discussion on each pending matter, I will ask for public comment before bringing the matter to a vote. Also, prior to adjournment of the meeting, you will have an opportunity to comment on any other matters of OPPD business. We will take comments via WebEx. Let's first review the 2 options for WebEx attendees to notify us. Option 1, which is being displayed now, involves sending the meeting technology host a message using the chat feature, simply stating that you wish to speak. Ms. Hinders?
Thank you, Chair Bogner. For those who have joined us using a computer or WebEx mobile app, you will find a button in your WebEx interface to open the chat panel. Once open, you may send your message to the meeting technology host. Requests to provide comments will be relayed to Chair Bogner for recognition during the public comments section.
Okay, and then option 2, which is being displayed now, involves the hand raise feature. Ms. Hinders?
WebEx allows attendees to virtually raise their hand. You may use this feature to indicate to OPPD that you wish to be recognized to provide comments. The hand raise button is located in the participant list panel as displayed on this slide. After you have provided your comments, please press the hand raise button again to virtually lower your hand. And for those who have joined the meeting using only a telephone, WebEx has a hand raise feature that is activated by pressing *3 to raise and lower your hand. When we see your hand raised, we will acknowledge you by referencing a portion of your phone number. For example, caller with the phone number beginning in 402123. If you wish to provide comments when recognized, please wait a brief moment to be unmuted and begin speaking. At this time, if you would like to try using the hand raise feature as a test, you may do so. I see Craig Moody has raised his hand. The feature is working.
All right. I'll allow plenty of time at each opportunity for public comment for members of the public to provide notification via WebEx. When I call on a member of the public to speak, our meeting technology host will unmute your microphone. Before commencing your comments, I suggest you first affirm that we can hear you. Please state your name and address and state the name of any organization or person you are representing. Organizations should choose one representative to speak on their behalf. Each individual will be allotted 3 minutes per pending matter at the discretion of the board. To assist you, we will display a timer to ensure each member of the public receives a consistent amount of time. Ms. Henners will signal you when 30 seconds remain, as well as when time is up. Please direct your comments to me. I will either respond to you directly or defer response to another board member or officer of the district. If you have written materials, please email them to Ms. Henners at mfhenners, that's HINNERS, at OPPD.com, and she will receive them on our behalf. Ms. Henners, will you please take the roll call?
Bogner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Here.
Howard,
Here.
Molhoff,
Here.
Moody,
I'm here.
Spurgeon,
Present.
Williams,
Here.
Yoder.
Here.
Announcement regarding public notice of meeting. Notice of the time and place of this meeting was publicized by notifying the area news media, by publicizing same in Outlets newsletter and on OPPD.com, by displaying such notice on the arcade level of Energy Plaza since March 12, 2021, and by emailing such notice to each of the district's directors on that same date. A copy of the proposed agenda for this meeting has been maintained on a current basis and is readily available for public inspection in the office of the district's corporate secretary. Additionally, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is available for inspection on OPPD.com. The consent agenda items for this evening are as follows. Item 6, approval of the February 2021 meeting minutes and the March 18th, 2021 agenda. Item 7, SD 14, Retirement Plan Funding Monitoring Report, Resolution number 6423. Item 8, Commercial Paper Program Expansion, Resolution number 6424. And item 9, Bright Project Approval Engineer Certification, Resolution number 6425. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions to the consent agenda items, I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we discussed these action items at the all committee meeting on Tuesday, March 16th. So at this time, I would like to ask if any members of the public have any comments on these consent agenda items. If you would like to make a comment, please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. I'll wait a moment. Let me see if I see any hands. All right, I see one hand, but I can't see the call-in user number. Brent, could you help me?
It's call-in user 402-344, but I also believe that hand went up during the little hand raise test at the beginning.
Okay, could we unmute them and make sure, please?
Absolutely.
Hello, call-in user. Would you like to make a comment on the consent agenda?
Whoever commented that it was left over from the test at the beginning was correct.
All right, thank you. Sounds like Alan. All right.
It's Alan, and Francis is here too.
Very good. I'm sure we'll speak with you later. All right. At this time, I see no other hands. Just taking another pass. Brent, do you see anything?
I have no chat request or see any other raised hands, Chair Bogner.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Henners.
Bogner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Molhoff,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Spurgeon,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Yoder.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite President Burke to give the president's report.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair Bodnar. I'll have Ms. Hinders, if you could go to the next slide. We're going to talk about February's baseload generation. Nebraska City 1, you can see the capacity factors for all of our baseload units. Nebraska City 1 had one forced outage for about 24 hours in the month of February. Nebraska City 2 had one forced outage, but then around the 20th of February went into a longer term maintenance outage that's currently underway right now. Unit number 4 did have a tube leak that was about a 48-hour repair. That unit came back online, and Unit 5 had a maintenance outage before the polar vortex critical time, and our teams have been able to bring that unit back up online before the February 15th, actually on that Sunday morning or Saturday night, it became back online. And so our teams have done a lot of work relative to all of our baseload generation, really preparing them not only for the polar vortex, but preparing them for our summer peak load areas as well. And those outages have gone well. And our units, or the folks operating our units, I'll talk about the peaking units in just a little bit, but some of the technology that we're using is drone usage to identify tube leaks earlier in the process, so we can identify materials, locations, really create the design and accelerate the restoration of that outage due to a tube leak. And our folks use that technology very appropriately. If we could go to the next slide. You will see in our peaking generation some pretty significant numbers compared to what we historically see. And the example would be on Cass County. It had an 18% capacity factor for the month of February. Last year, it had a 0 capacity factor. It wasn't operated last February. It was this year, primarily during that week or two of that polar vortex area where it was called on and was able to operate on natural gas for that whole time. Jones Street was at 10%. It was one of the units called upon by SPP to operate. And last year at this time, it was 0%. North Omaha 1, 2, and 3, because of its limited natural gas capacity, because it's behind the transmission within the MUD system, it doesn't have the capacity to operate during winter because most of that gas flow is being used for residential, commercial, industrial heating and processing. And so those units are typically in an outage during the winter time, but are available during the summertime. Cass County had a capacity factor of 5.3, and that compares to about 0.3% last year in 2020. And having our conversation with Justin Weimer, our manager of our peaking units, they just did some amazing work in some amazing weather, just like our baseload generation team had done. So congratulations to all of them. Let's go to our February renewables. Renewable energy contributed to about 24% of our retail sales in the month of February. That really compares in year to date, it's around 30%. The wind capacity factor for the month of February was 30% as well. You know, typically for last year, we were very close to 40% of our retail sales, or renewable contributed to about 40% of our retail sales in 2020. I think it was 38.9% or something very close to that. And so we'll see those kind of energy sales pick up in the spring as well. Capacity factor for our community solar was 11.6%. And year-to-date capacity factor was 10%. We are beginning warranty repairs with NextEra at our Fort Calhoun community solar site. Again, if you remember, that's about a 5 megawatt site that we are working with NextEra on, and that'll be completed probably in the next week or so. If we could move on to the next slide, just to talk a little bit about one of our core values about honoring our community. You know, OPPD was recognized as one of the top utilities by Business Facilities, a leading media outlet specializing in economic development and site selection marketplace. OPPD was one of 12 utilities receiving this award, this national recognition, and it's because of some of the wonderful projects that occurred in our area and the engagement that our team has been involved. And that includes the Amazon robotic fulfillment facility, the Dollar General distribution facility in the Blair area, as well as the George A. Hormel Papillion Foods operation in Papillion in the Sarpy County area. That will have about 350 team members in its full operation. And we're excited to have all of those operations in our service territory. The Dollar General distribution facility will add about 400 employees to that area. And the Amazon Robotics has a pretty significant investment of about $200+ million to that area. So congratulations to our economic team. And I just heard from several customers that our economic development team that are working with of just the great work that we are assisting existing customers in their expansion opportunities as well. So congratulations to Lisa and Tim O'Brien and Brooke Aiken and the full team of our economic development group. Another item which is honoring our community is really our Heat the Streets fundraiser. So more than 500 runners and walkers participated in our virtual event on Saturday, March 6th. In our 14th annual Heat the Streets Run and Walk for Warmth. It was the nicest Saturday of the 14 years that I can remember, I can tell you that. So it was a beautiful day. My wife Terry and I know others. You can see a bunch of OPPD people in the background here participating. I know our director who chaired the event, along with her husband Wayne, Janice Molhoff, were the chairs, along with Tanya Cook, who is a MUD, Metropolitan Utilities District Board of Director member, co-chaired the event. We raised over $103,000, which will assist over 300 households will benefit because of that fundraiser. And so just a great opportunity for us to raise money on behalf of our customer owners. Great supporters, great donors, great sponsors. Want to thank them all. And hopefully next year we'll be able to do this outside. And so we look forward to that in 2022. The next slide, Ms. Hinders, is really the conversation we're having on our pathway to decarbonization. And as we talked about to the board yesterday, and that we did publicly around our pathways to decarbonization, we are beginning our energy portfolio workshops. We'll have 6 deep dives over the coming months. This work and the input of not only employees, but our customer owners will help shape our pathway to decarbonization energy portfolio study. This work will support also an integrated resource plan that will be delivered in 2022. So the first workshop is online and it's open to the public and will be held on Wednesday, April 7th from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 p.m. You can register at oppdcommunityconnect.com. If you can't attend the workshop, that's okay. That workshop will be recorded and you'll have the opportunity to gather and submit feedback following that workshop. So it's a great opportunity for us to execute our stakeholder initiative and gather feedback from our customer owners to help support one of our strategic initiatives, which is our decarbonization or Pathways to Decarbonization strategic initiative. And finally, our next one, this is one that we do each month at our OPPD board meeting, really to recognize one of our employees that died in the line of duty. And this is kind of a mixed one, as they all are, but Ken Kitchen was also one that really honored our community and had a passion to serve. He was one of the strong supporters and advocates of our Power Drive initiative that we did for multiple years, where we worked with area high schools to develop all electric vehicles and race them and work on stopping and braking and engineering. And he was just an exceptional supporter of that program. Ken died on December 27th, 2 days after Christmas in 2020, after he was struck by a vehicle alongside West Dodge Road while trying to clear debris from under another car. So Ken stopped his vehicle on Dodge Street, got out to help one of our customer owners in removing debris underneath their vehicle, and then was hit by a passing car. He was 53 years old at the time of his death. He had been with OPPD for 26 years. He was survived by his wife, Cindy, son, Josh, daughter, Jennifer, and his parents, a brother, and 2 sisters. And It's just a great opportunity to understand that, not only do our operation employees, Ken worked in our transportation, supervisor of our transportation mechanic area, again, was a great supporter and really honored the community and what he did with his passion to serve. And so it's just a great reminder of our men and women at OPPD that give their lives in the line of duty to help serve our customer owners across our service territory. So with that, that concludes the president's report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Burke. Okay, at this time, it's public comment period. So I would like any members of the public that have any comments on other items of district business to go ahead and either raise your hand on WebEx, send a chat request to the host, and telephone users, you can press *3 to raise your hand. And so Alan, Vivolka, you and Francis are first in line if you would like to address the board at this time.
Hi, this is
Go ahead,
Francis
Francis.
Mendenhall. Francis Mendenhall, 3715 Hamilton, and I have three things that I would hope for when you hire Mr. Burke's replacement, and they are, I would like to see someone with vision, someone who understands and acts upon the urgency of the climate crisis, and finally, someone with skills at leading an organization through transformative change. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that input. We will definitely note those three items and contemplate that as we're going through that process. All right, we have a couple other people that have raised their hand. Brent, looks like I have a call-in user 402-905.
Yeah, it's fine. My name is Christian Espinosa, and I just want to make a comment about the communication that you have in the social media and in general with the Spanish-speaking population. I think that being the 13% of the population of the OPPD covered area, I think the communication in both languages, in English and Spanish, should be disseminated, especially in the out ages. And I think, guys, that you are doing a really good job. I just think that the Latino population deserves the services in Spanish too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will pass that comment along to our Public Information Committee.
Yeah, and I'll just kick off. I think that's this is Tim Burke, and Lisa, I'll let you jump in as well. But I think this is one of the items that I think you will see surface certainly in our after action review of the polar vortex as well. And we began to kind of execute that through the course of that event. But I think to be more proactive on that, I really do appreciate the caller's intent around that. We've actually engaged and actually had a conversation with our Latino Society of OPPD around assisting us with that. And so it can be quicker, faster, more current. And so I think you're gonna see that show up in the very near future differently than you have in the past. Lisa, I'll turn it over to you to provide any insight on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, and greatly appreciate the comment. The team has been working on that, but we do have a ways to go, and it is a priority for us, especially through all of our communication vehicles. So thank you. The channels will reflect that going forward. So thank you.
All right, Christian, before we let you go, though, can we get your address for the public record?
Yeah, it is 1819 South 58th Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68106.
Thank you very much. All right, the next person that I see is John Pollock.
Yes, John Pollock, 1412 North 35th Street, Omaha, 68131. I regret I had trouble with the interface and barely got in at the end, so have to review the materials. This was a fast meeting. Anyway, the weather situation is not as drastic as it was a month ago, but we do have a series of fast-moving storm systems that are going to be coming through the Plain States. It looks like the strongest of the systems is going to be to the south and east of us for probably the next week or so, which would leave us mostly with rain, but without severe weather. However, after that, it becomes more uncertain, and we are, of course, coming into spring severe weather season. So we'll need to stay on top of that, and some of the sister utilities in the southern plains may be affected more heavily by some of these storm systems than we are. No more major Arctic pushes for the next at least couple of weeks, and that's about it on the weather. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pollock. All right, right now I don't see any other requests. Brent, do you have any chat requests?
I have no chat requests, but I do see Miss Sandy Lear has raised her hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, this is Sandy Lair, 9737 Brentwood Road, Omaha, Nebraska, 68114. And I would like to thank Tim Burke for the progress that he's made on the clean energy front, but I would like the next CEO to continue to raise the bar on clean energy and lower emissions more quickly than 2050, more in line with the current administration's goal of carbon-free by 2035. I'd like a CEO that's courageous and will act with more urgency on the climate front. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Lear. We appreciate those comments, and we'll take those into consideration as we're deliberating over our decisions. All right, Brent, any additional hands, or if there are any other members of the public that'd like to address us now, please signal us in the ways that we have provided.
Standing by in case I receive any chat requests.
Okay.
I have no additional chat requests, and I do not see any other raised hands. Unless the list reordered on me, it might be, I believe that is Mr. and Mrs. Volka, 402344 may have raised their hand again.
Let's unmute them and just ask. Sometimes Alan likes to address this as well.
Hello, this is Alan Bovoka, 3719 Hamilton Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I did attend the meeting, or listen to the meeting on Tuesday, where the decarbonization efforts were presented in some detail. And I was impressed that the team that's doing this work is being very thorough. They're exploring lots of options. As someone who's got decades of experience doing decision support professionally for corporate executives, I would recommend that the board insist when the team comes to you with recommendations on decarbonization specifically, that you have them present more than one option with detailed explanations of what each option provides and what each option precludes, because like many other decisions that you're faced with, making a positive decision in one area often precludes a decision in a related area. This is a very complicated task, and you'll be making progress on it with either a brand new executive or without an executive at all for part of this time period. I would recommend that the board take a very active position on that and make sure that you get options rather than what has typically happened with this board, which is there will be a presentation and an up or down vote requested. This process is way too big and way too complicated to just do that one piece at a time without thorough understanding of the implications for all the options. It's not an easy task. I don't envy you guys, but I'm glad that you're there to do this because it's important work. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bobolka. President Burke, would you like to talk a little bit about how you see the recommendations unfolding in the
Sure.
decarbonization plan?
Sure, and what I will do is turn it over to Mary. I think she has probably the best line of sight on specific recommendations. Again, I think it's really important that this strategic initiative is really to match up with the board's SD7 focus on net zero carbon by 2050, and specifically, I believe what Mr. Avoca is speaking to is our energy portfolio related activity. And so the team will look at a variety of alternatives around that and understand kind of the pluses and minuses of all of those and what that would take to get to net zero carbon by 2050. And so I don't think there's one recommendation that's coming. I think it's really, and I don't think it's a decision point of what that looks like. It's really meant to really give the focus and understanding about what does it mean and what does it look like in order to get the net zero carbon. But Mary, I'll let you provide some more color commentary on that, Ms. Fisher.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the comment, Mr. Babolka. You are in alignment with exactly where we're headed. The plan all along has been pathways with an S on the end to decarbonization to present to the board of directors options. And we did talk a little bit about the fact that we are going to have to be nimble as we see new technologies develop. And as they come along, we'll be able to shift our road or our pathway to make sure that we can meet that overall goal of net zero carbon by 2050. To that end, the team is working really hard to bring those options in. And as you said, detailed out some of the specifics. You know, how big is that? What is the rate impact if there is one? How fast can we move? How slow should we go? All of those things will be addressed as we bring that recommendation forward. It will be a recommendation on a roadmap. It will not be specific asset acquisition recommendation, which I think is what you've been referring to in our Power with Purpose project. So this is really the guiding star that will get us from where we are today to where we want to be at net zero carbon.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see, Brent, I don't see any additional hands. Any more chat requests?
I have no additional chat requests, Chair Bogner.
Okay. Given that, I think that we can adjourn this meeting of the Board of Directors. Thank you all for your time.